What's up? Happy Halloween, everybody. Thank you for joining me on this last day of October. Just a reminder, if this call, this is for DMs. We have employees are welcome to be on here as well, but DMs and owners, kind of welcome for everybody, but that's kind of target audience. But I want to point out, last day of the month, if you don't have any ACP sales in your door, today is the last day to get those. If you are a DM on this call and you have stores that don't have an ACP sale, well, they got a few hours left in the day to make sure they get off that zero list. And if you are a dealer who's in that position where you're off that zero list, don't think of getting one sale today. You're good to go because tomorrow's a new month and everything starts back over. So ACP should be part of our daily process. But just a reminder, today is the last day of October. If your store is still showing a zero there, get them off of that zero list pronto. All right, with that said, I will pull up my deck and let me make sure, let me share my slideshow. Can you guys see my deck okay, and can you hear me?
We've got you.
All right, thank you guys so much for hopping on. So again, this is geared towards district managers. Even if you're manager of one store, this is going to be very helpful for you. And maybe if you're a sales rep on here, this will just kind of help you key into what are those things you should be focused on every day. Maybe you're a sales rep that wants to get to be a manager and wants to get to be a district manager. Because one of the things about wireless is it's an industry where you can always have a job, because cell phones, they're not a want like they were, 20 years ago. They're a need. Like, everybody in the world has a cell phone, and it's a great industry to be in because not only does everyone have a cell phone, but every few years they have to get a new one. So that's the entire population of the U.S. getting new phones every so often, and everyone's going to have a device. So it's just a great industry to be in. So if you are a sales rep, this is a path you can have a career on. If you're a district manager, congratulations on reaching that level. And again, this is a great career path you guys have chosen. So let's jump in. 2023, let me edit this. 2023 is just around the corner here. So 2023 is just around the corner here. So what better time to implement and execute a new plan as a DM, right? We got 60 days left. So how do we implement and execute on that new plan? Number one is do a few things to help your whole organization. Have staff meetings, have them standardized. Just, us at DCI, all of the account managers have a leadership call every single Monday. If you're on the Boost corporate, if you're a Boost account executive, all of them have meetings every single week, whether it's a Monday or Tuesday, depending on the market. There's these standardized meetings every single week. If you're a DM of a store, you should be having these standardized meetings for your team. Have that consistency of who you want to invite to it, what you're going to cover, which is kind of your results and all the news of the day. Everyone knows in wireless, things change so rapidly that, it can be the 12th or 13th of the month. We have brand new promotions launching, right? Where you have them. So if you want to do these in person, if you want to do them virtually, then of course win. So the goal is to have them standardized. If you can do them once a week virtually, that's great. If you do them once a month in person, that's great. But just have these meetings that have that consistency. And maybe you do both, the once a person in month, and then the other 3 weeks are all virtual. But it's really important you guys are implementing these standard staff meetings to make sure you guys know your goals. Like, if you walk into any of your doors today, or if you're a sales rep on this call, and you ask them, how many sales do you have? Where are you to goal? If you don't know this answer, how are you holding yourself accountable or your team members accountable for knowing these goals? You need to make sure the on-the-mile strategies are communicated and executed on. So, we did launch a bunch of stuff for back to school. Halloween just got done. So the next thing is Thanksgiving, right? So have you planned a turkey event? Have you planned a Thanksgiving event for your store? If not, now is the time to put that on your calendar. And then when you have those meetings, very important you send a recap of what was discussed, anything you want to standardize, but have that cadence every single week. So some tips for managing your people. You got to think about it. If you're on the DM level or even manager level, right? You have a lot of different people working in your store, and what motivates one person might not motivate the next, because different people are motivated by different factors. One is money, sales, and incentives. And for me, that's the big one for me. Is like, my job when I visit stores is I want to make you as profitable as possible. For me, I'm motivated by hitting my goals, and crushing my sales and incentives. Other reps may be motivated by opportunity. They may have a goal to grow their career and how success leads to their advancement. Other reps love to have that kind of teamwork out there, where it's like recognition on GroupMe and WhatsApp, where they say they can talk to other reps. There's so many group chats out there. You guys actually, majority of you do a fantastic job on this. You communicate very well on GroupMe and WhatsApp. You could have people that are motivated by having special projects rather, or leading their peers. So if you want to have someone, hey, we need to have an event coming up for Thanksgiving, we have nothing on the books. Linda, I want to nominate you to create these events for all of our doors this month. Help with the planning of it. Reach out to your Boost account executive, reach out to your DCI account executive, reach out to your distributors like Motorola, like Nokia, like Sana, at Likewise, to help promote the events. Everyone's here to help, but it takes someone to have that leadership role to get that stuff planned. When it comes to visibility, so recognize the success and giving approval. That's one thing. Again, you don't know how different people are motivated, right? But some people just want that recognized success. They want that approval. They want hey, Alex, you did a great job. You are a top sales maker for the month of October. Everyone just wanted to congratulate Alex for crushing your goals. Great job. Some people just need that pat on the back. And as your organizations grow, you kind of learn what makes each person tick. And whereas I may have originally, I've been doing wireless for a long time now, I thought, oh, everyone should be motivated by money. When you have those conversations with your reps and ask them directly, what motivates you? Is it money? Is it opportunity? Is it teamwork? Is it independence? Is it visibility? Is it, excellence? Some people will say, man, you know what, Adam, all I want is I want to be recognized for what I do. I want to be called out. Like if my store does great and I did I did 90% of my activations for the store, I wanted to be called out for my individual success I had, right? So give them that visibility, give them that approval. And then when it comes to like excellence as a motivator, professional development. So mentorship, take people under your wing, mentor them, guide them, help them grow their career. A rising tide raises all ships, right? So get to know what your reps want and need, and find out what motivates them. And that is a major key to success, because it is not a blank slate where one thing works for everybody. You really got to realize what makes each of your reps tick and kind of adapt your strategy for your team based on those individuals. So moving on, when we talk about accountability, right? So accountability for your reps, accountability for yourself, accountability for your teams. Accountability can be one of the hardest things to drive. And so how you do when you drive towards that accountability depends on how you're keeping everybody on track. So think about what accountability you hold your reps to in your doors, right? Do they know the key priorities? Do you as a district manager or even sales rep focus on how you're organizing your time? If you're a district manager, you want to make sure you have that schedule out there a couple weeks in advance, so the reps know what to expect, what's going on, where you're going, what's the purpose of your visits, and what are you doing while you're there, right? You don't want to kind of drive around blindly to your stores. You want to make sure you have an agenda when you're heading to that location, and then you execute on that agenda, which should correlate directly with your key priorities. So when I talk about key priorities, I talk about wildly important goals. So what are the wildly important goals as we go into November? It's 3 things, guys. DOP, Digital Operating Platform. We have the white SIM cards out there now. So we have black SIM cards, we have white SIM cards. You can do new activations, you can do add-lines. You guys should be focusing on DOP. It's going to be a major focus. A couple months ago, there may have been some talk about, hey, we don't need to focus on it as much. That time is done. And I've been in stories like, oh, I heard we don't need to focus on it. Wrong, okay? It is a major focus. It's going to be a wildly important goal with them launching those white SIM cards out. And you'll see some of the new promotions that are launching are tied to Digital Operating Platform. So making sure your reps are activating on DOP unless they can't. Like if it's an ACP customer, obviously they can't do a DOP activation on a black or white SIM card. That has to be orange. But if those customers can activate on DOP, they need to be on there each and every time. ACP also huge focus, guys. We should have no zero selling doors in ACP. If you haven't gotten on board with this by now, you're really missing the boat. I mean, this is such easy money, and it comes down to the pitch. So if you guys aren't selling it, to me, it tells me you're not comfortable with the process. How do you sell it? The best way I heard is explained to me from a dealer. It was a dealer who's been around for a long time. They were run actually back from the sprint days. They were a post-paid dealer, which then a lot of sprint doors got closed down. They got switched to Boost, and now they're a Boost dealer. And I thought it was a very smart take. It was like, what these are is this is like a post-paid activation for prepaid, because yeah, there are a couple more steps involved. But if you think about the profitability there, if a customer can get a $50 plan for as low as $20, it's a simple supply and demand curve. If you got store A and store B, store A's offering it for $50, store B's offering the exact same thing for $20. Once that word gets out, they're going to be going to store B all day, every day. So if you guys aren't on top of this and really pushing it, you're missing the boat. And if you tell me, oh, your customers don't want it, I'm going to probably disagree with you 9 out of 10 times, because we can look at the doors in your surrounding area and see how they're doing on ACP. Like I've had dealers say, oh, customers here don't want it, right? But then I can look at half mile away. This store half mile away from you sold 90 of them. And, they're in 0.4 miles. So I don't agree with you telling me customers don't want it. To me, it's you're not comfortable pitching it and selling it. And that's okay, right? So if we know that, if you learn about your reps, you figure out that they don't know how to sell it right, that's their opportunity. That's where you can coach them, you can grow them. There's amazing videos now out there that actually have end-to-end training. They've redone those ACP videos where it's beginning to end process, everything in Elevate, everything on the tablets. These were redone in October, where you can watch those videos and you'll be good to go. And if you haven't taken the training on them, because there is new training that is out there for you guys to take, make sure you go on to ULearn. It used to be Star, now it's called ULearn. But make sure you take those trainings and you guys are good to go on that. All right. Next priority is VAS. VAS stands for Value Added Services. That's adding things like international calling or device protection to every sale. I'm big on the assumption close. When you pitch a customer, you always want to make sure that you have that assumption close in there and you are bundling in your phone with device protection. When you offer it that way, it's going to stick probably 80 to 90% of the time. And when the customers say no, another thing for you to kind of watch your reps and coach them on, do they accept that first no, or are they overcoming an objection? So let's just say a single line deal to make it easy. I'm coaching someone on, hey, $57 on the talk, text, data plus protection. And they say, oh, well, the sign says 50. I'm not going to take that as, oh, okay, I can take off protection. I'm going to say, oh, well, you know what? I'm putting device protection on your phone. So if you lose it, you pay a small deductible and you get a phone overnighted to you overnight. If you want to take it off in the future, you can, but most phones are broken in the first 30 days. I highly recommend you add it now, because the only way for this to go into effect immediately is if you add it at point of sale. And when you overcome the objection that way, what you'll see, or what your reps will see, is it's going to stick for the majority of your customers. Show you how some that still say no, but the majority of your customers are like, okay. And then what happens is when they come in to make their payment in month 2 or month 3, they don't take it off. They'll keep it on there because people love having their phone protected. But these are our 3 priorities. So coach these to your doors. What's your priorities for November? DOP, so black and white SIM cards. ACP, our affordable connectivity plans. And VAS, our value-added services. If they don't know what your wildly important goals are and what you're focusing on, then that's an opportunity for you as a DM to coach to that and make sure they are executing on those priorities. So when it comes to making sure they're executing, right, documentation is the key. So are the owners keeping you accountable for your schedule and driving profits? Are you keeping your reps accountable for hitting their goals? And when value-added services, DOP, ACP, what goals does each rep have? Did you set goals for each rep, or did you set them for the store, right? More effectively to set them on the rep level so that rep knows what they need to hit, whether that be to maximize their compensation or to make sure their store hits their goals, but have those goals And this is where the weekly meetings are so important because you can see where that rep is tracking towards their goals each and every week. On top of that, something we haven't talked about in a while, and it's been pretty disappointing to be honest with you when I go into stores or when I'm having these business reviews with dealer on how Smile and Dial has just fallen off the table, right? Our Smile and Dial numbers have been pretty poor. And, I think that may be to us not coaching and talk about it every month, but this is a huge opportunity for you guys. Metro doesn't have it. Cricket doesn't have it. You can reach out to your customer base. You can pitch ACP to every customer. Look at those loyalty boxes, 6 months and beyond, 12 months and beyond, 18 months and beyond. Look at those customers. Any of them that are on the $50 plan, you can offer them a second line of service, keep their bill at $50. Or pitch add-a-lines. If they say, no, I don't have anyone that needs that, no worries. We have a great add-a-line promotion. I can get you a $200 phone for as low as $25. Pivot to your add-a-line sale. Your customers who are in their 3rd month retention, if you want to be a platinum partner, what matters? Value-added services, 3MR. Those are 2 major keys for that. You can make sure that you drive those 3rd month customers back in to pay their bill. Hey, call them, pitch their ACP. They don't want that. Pitch add-a-line. They don't need that. You can still say, okay, perfect. Well, which one? Thank you for being a customer. I see your bill is due November 15th. We can't wait to see you. Thanks for being a customer in the boost. We'll see you soon, right? Drive that traffic into your door. Remind them when their bill's due. Get them back into your location. These Smile and Dial calls, the goal is 20 calls per day. Now, I say if you're doing 10 calls per day, you're doing good, but the goal is 20 calls per day. But if I go to a store and it's the end of the month, and look, today's 31st, right? Look what your guys' Smile and Dial number is today. Are you going to be happy? Are you going to be disappointed? What action are you going to do to improve it? Because when I see stores, at the end of the month, they made 17 calls. Like, what are we doing here? Like, this is a huge miss. And especially when I have dealers say, man, things have been slow. One of my first questions is, how many Smile and Dial calls have you made? So if things are slow, we have these great tools that no one else has to drive traffic into your door. So if you're not utilizing those and driving that traffic back in, it's a huge opportunity and huge miss. So I want to make sure you guys are holding your reps accountable for Smile and Dial, 10 calls per day. And an easy way to do that, right, is tell your reps, hey, once you finish your 10 calls, shoot me a text, let me know you're done. They can shoot you a text, or if you have a group me for your stores, when you hit your 10 calls, shoot a text to the group text saying that you've hit your 10 calls for the day. Why does the group text work, or group me or WhatsApp, whatever you guys want to use? Because then you see accountability for all the reps. So if one rep does it, another doesn't, like, oh, I've seen 3 or 4 people have done it. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I haven't started yet. I better get going, So have that in there, have documentation, and make sure your reps are accountable. And then also make sure your reps are accountable for merchandising their stores correctly, right? So the merchandising grid is posted on the sales portal. When you guys get pack outs, it's another, I would say, big opportunity. So that's my nicest word I can use, big opportunity. When you go into stores and you don't see the new posters out, right? And they're like, oh, well, I didn't work here yesterday, is what I hear from a lot of frontline reps. I wasn't here. Okay, well, it's now 2 in the afternoon. You've been here since open. These posters have been here all day. Why aren't they up, right? That's a kind of a tired excuse. So when the posters come in, open them up, check the planogram. If you get them a day early, understandable, they'll go up the next day. But once they're supposed to be up, that stuff needs to go up. If your fact tags need to be changed, make sure your pricing is accurate. I mean, that's your silent salesperson. If you think about going to Best Buy, you go to a Best Buy, your experience there, they only have 1 rep and have 10 people in their store, but they can see the correct price for everything. If you go into a location, you don't have those price tags out, or you don't have those price tags up to date, it's just a really bad experience for your customers. You want to make sure you have everything accurate and you make them want to go back to your location. Because if you think about our boost stores, we have a lot of them, right? So if they get a bad interaction one time at your location, they'll probably head down the street. So we want to make sure you're giving them kind of that white glove treatment or that red carpet treatment for all your customers. And for those reps who open and close, I would put the accountability on them for making sure it's merchandised correctly. So if you start your day, the new planogram's out, or you can look at the first day of the planogram. Hey, the new planogram's up today, end of day. Send me pictures showing that the store is merchandised correctly, right? So it's kind of documenting. Again, documentation is the key there. So when you look at the new focus, and I kind of a sample sheet to the right was old priorities, right? But the stuff on the left kind of matters. And what it is the new focus, spend less time at your honey hole, meaning If a store is doing very well, they probably don't need a lot of your time because they know what to do. You want to prioritize your store visits where you're going to see the biggest return. You as DMs need to become the CEO of your territory. So have that owner mentality every day for your results. Make sure the marketing activities are taken care of, the social media is taken care of. Make sure you're elevating every rep at every door. Is the store above or below the line for your goals? Is above or below sales? Above or below value-added services? Above or below DOP? And then is your rep willing to work with you to improve? Because I'll tell you what, we got a lot of good people out there, and they just need that kind of help point in the direction on what they need to focus on and improve, and you'll see that improvement. And you can add your observations to the form. So if you give them something with the priorities on there, you can add your notes and the comment for next week for them to focus on. SWOT analysis. Is anyone on this call, have you heard that term before? Does anyone know what a SWOT analysis stands for? Okay. Well, SWOT analysis, it stands for, the S is for the strengths, W is for the weaknesses, O is for the opportunities, and T is for your threats. So when you talk to your reps, they should be able to give you a 2-minute SWOT analysis on all their doors, right? And you should be able to give this to your owners as well. So, if someone calls in, hey, what's the strengths of this store? What's their weaknesses? Like, oh, the store's doing really good on activations. Weaknesses, their ACP is very low. Their opportunity is they need to increase their small dollar calls, increase their ACP. Our threats right now, there's a great promotion going on at such and such that's taking away from whatever the case, whatever that threat is, right? But you should know your doors and be able to give that quick SWOT analysis to your owner. So know your market, right? As a DM, you should know your market, know your stores. And as employees, they should know their individual store or their individual performance on their strengths, weakness, opportunity, and threats. So it's a exercise that helps everybody. If the reps understand this and can do this to you, you can help coach and guide them. If you understand this and give this to your owners can then help and guide you, right? So it's not a long process. You're not asking for a lot of work. We're saying, take just 2 minutes, man. Just go over quick. What are your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats? Then focus on them, address them, and let's get them better for next week. So in next week's SWOT analysis, we can say, hey, we improved on this. We gained some areas of opportunity here. We're still having this issue, whatever the case may be, until we get it all worked out. When you perform on all this SWOT analysis for all your doors, the big questions for you as DMs is, what's your action plan to solve the weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, right? So that's kind of your role. When your reps tell you your weaknesses, opportunities, threats, or you realize your own team's weaknesses, opportunities, and threats as a DM, what is your action plan to solve them? So come up with your own action plan and create and communicate that to your owners, right? That's how you're going to improve your business. That's how you're going to drive sales. Any questions on the SWOT analysis? All right, next I want to talk a little bit about acting on lead measures. So what is a lead measure? It's the highest leverage actions or activities that can accomplish goals. So you think about, like, what's the lead measure to affect PSA? Think about things like, how do we increase door swings? Well, small dollar calls for one, right? Your small dollar calls are going to increase your door swings to drive that customer traffic that might not be coming into your door. Are you doing Facebook posts and advertising? That'll affect PSA. Are you posting on social media? Are you driving our newest promotions? Do you have planned events and marketing? Again, that's going to drive PSA. We're going to do an event where we're going to give away, 5 turkeys to our first 5 customers on such and such a day for Thanksgiving, right? Have those events. How do we close more lines based on the traffic we generate? So again, you got to make an offer every time a customer comes in your door, and this is, it is the biggest opportunity. I'm trying to think of the word I wanted to use. I said it's the biggest opportunity is making an offer every time. Don't never lead with one offer, right? Lead with your family plans. So lead with 3-line offers, 4-line offers. How many people in your family need a phone? But you can never clerk a payment. I see it so many times. It's probably my biggest pet peeve when someone just clerks a payment. Like, that's a customer coming in your door for a possible sale. So if you're a DM and you see a rep clerking a payment, you should immediately kind of jump in, ask those questions, and once the customer is gone, say, hey, this is a coaching opportunity for you. We don't ever want to see you clerk a payment, right? Like there's plenty of clerks at gas stations. Here you're a solutions consultant. Your job is to find out what the customer needs and deliver and execute on our priorities. The 5 P's there, what's the preparation for your reps? They're ready for the day. They know the promotions, they know products, the placements rate, and you're positioning these offers correctly. When it comes to a compelling scorecard, so you guys have the Smile and Dial scorecards out there. If you want to create your own scorecards, it is nice to see, but again, we want the reps to know their own individual performance and have that cadence of accountability, which we talked at the start of this meeting. So that cadence of accountability is that rhythm of regular and frequent team meetings that focus on those wildly important goals. What are those for this month or November rather? It's going to be DOP, going to be value-added services, right? We need to, of course, always increase our gross ads and sales, but value-added services, DOP, 3MR, right? Those are our super important goals. Have these meetings weekly, if you can daily, no worries, but they don't have to be long, right? And you can do these meetings no longer than 20, 30 minutes. In that brief time, you hold each other accountable for the commitments they made last week and move the scorecard in the right way. So the key for having that accountability is have regular and frequent events that are planned. So you guys need to plan these and put them on your team calendars. Do them weekly, have them brief, 30 minutes top, and then have the members held accountable for their commitments for the prior weeks. And how can we improve it if we're not hitting our goals? What can we do to help fix that, right? If you think about heart is what separates the good from the great. That was a quote from Michael Jordan. So it's like having that heart, right? You guys have great teams out there, and as DMs, you're great coaches. So do that coaching to get the most from every person on your team. It's going to help lift your entire organization. So if you look at kind of, oops, sorry, I'm hitting the wrong button there. Kind of the brand, right? So again, I talked about our brand being our silent sales reps to make sure those are correct and out there on the sales floor. If they're not correct, as a DM, that should bother you. Is you're responsible for making sure your stores are merchandised correctly. The buck stops with you. Now, yes, the employee should have it up, but as a DM, if they don't do that, you're the one who's there to make sure that is correct. Streamline that process, again, by having the reps take a picture of their store that is merchandised correctly prior to each new launch. We talk about store visits. We talked about focusing on those stores that are underperforming. So 70% of your time spend it if you're the goal is 50 or whatever the goal may be for your store. If you're below that 50 or below your goal, 70% of your time should be there. For your stronger doors, 30% of your time should be spent there because those doors are already performing very, very strongly. Focus on improving one item at a time, and then once that's done, move on to that next item. Important you identify the symptoms and put plans in place to address them, which is why that weekly cadence is a great way to address them with a quick plan. When it comes to owning the mile, you want to own that mile around your store. So if you don't have a marketing calendar, it's a great time to have one. Why? Because we got Thanksgiving in November, we got Christmas in December. So start a 60-day event calendar, marketing plans for your events. So not like a field of dreams, like, oh, we could do this, we should do this. No, let's hammer it out. Let's finalize it here within the next week. Let's plan for Thanksgiving. Let's plan for Christmas. Let's get events scheduled and on your books. Build those local partnerships. So if you have businesses around you and you talk about, hey, can we cross promote with you? We're going to have this Thanksgiving promo or this Christmas promo. Can we put some flyers in your store? They're going to say yes. And it's like, we'll also take some stuff from your store and put it in our store. Do that cross promoting as well. Make sure you're using digital dashboard and Facebook and Google. Each DM, you should have your own separate login for that platform, but make sure you guys are updating your Facebook and your Google advertising. You can also kind of look through the SSI days, right? The 1st and the 15th. Those are great times to plan events around. Paydays every other Friday, and those holiday long weekends. So make sure you're thinking of those when you're thinking through your event schedule. Lastly, when it comes to tracking your commitments, ask the reps to give you a reasonable goal, right? So the time frame I expect you to meet this goal. For example, I'll sell 3 add-a-lines to bill payment customers by next Wednesday. Set a reminder in your calendar. So on that next Wednesday, you follow up. Hey, so-and-so, you had this conversation with me. You were going to get 3 add-a-lines by next Wednesday. Did you hit your goal? If you did, great. Fantastic job. If not, what happened and what can we do to make sure you hit it next week? And let's set a new goal for you, right? We talked about this cadence. I think we talked about this a lot. Feel a Friday team hype call. Those are great for any DMs who have big promotions or anything over the weekend. You can set expectations and goals for your weekend. Just a quick 10-minute team hype call. Those can be very effective. So you start of the day, hey, we're doing a quick team hype call. Remind them of the priorities, remind them of the goals, remind them of what you want to accomplish over the weekend before Monday. Doesn't have to be long, just a quick hype call. Get everyone on board, get them fired up, congratulate some of your top sellers from the previous week's sales. Again, because different people are motivated differently, right? Some wants the money, some wants the shout outs. Some it's giving them leadership roles like planning the events. Keep all that in mind, but have those hype calls. And then again, whenever you have a new promo launch, you want to make sure you're holding calls for that promo launch. You want to do it in the morning, really, honestly, prior to store opening, if possible. Like if store's open at 10, have it at 9:30, so no one's busy, or even 9. Have all reps attend, and even if you do 2 calls, make sure they get on there. Outline the phrase that pays. And if you need to do small contests as a DM, you can talk to your owner about maybe some extra incentives for small contests for reps to hit your wildly important goals. All right, guys, it is 12:31. That is all I had for this week's call. At this point in time, I will open up for any questions, but I do want to reiterate again, DOP, right? So if you weren't on the start of this call, DOP is a wildly important goal for us going into November. Now that we have the black and white SIM cards, you guys should be doing every activation you can on DOP. Again, ACP, you can't, so it needs to be on orange, but as district managers on this call, make sure that message is heard throughout your team. If you're a manager, make sure it's heard throughout your team. If you're a sales rep, hear me now. DOP, wildly important goal for you guys, as well as value-added services on each and every customer. All right, are there any questions out there? No questions? All right, thank you, Renata. Thank you guys so much. Have a fantastic day. We will talk to you next Monday. Thank you.